So, why am I wearing a suit? Not entirely sure. I think because I am treating this as sort of like a year-end video of sorts, I felt like maybe adding a little extra spice to it. But also I am going to a wedding, and this is sort of my trial run for, testing out this suit in terms of its comfort level. This shirt, it's a little tight on the neck here, and these pants, it's a little tight on the waist. But honestly, I bought this suit in my mid-20s, and I am now 37, so I am just very surprised that it still even fits me. And, I could replace the pants, I could replace the shirt, but more than likely, I am not going to do that, and I'm just going to deal with it on the wedding day. But that's not really what we're here to talk about. Today, really, I just want to talk about some of my favorite media from the year of 2025. I do like year-end videos. I like when people do like a year-end list of these are the best movies of the year and stuff. But I also do find those videos to be somewhat overwhelming because it's just a lot of stuff to sift through. I mean, you will find some great stuff, but I think on this channel I just like to keep it a little more casual and a little more personal. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you basically just my favorite movie from the year, my favorite album from the year, and also my favorite video game from the year, and that's it. This is also not meant to be comprehensive in any way, because there's just so much stuff I didn't really get around to, and there's so much stuff that I'm now seeing that's up for awards and that's already won awards that I'd be interested in engaging with, but I just haven't yet. So this is just based on the stuff that I did catch throughout the year. And we'll start with my favorite movie. Okay, and this one was an interesting one for me because I'm surprised by what I chose. Before I tell you what I chose, I will say that I went to go see One Battle After Another on opening night because I am such a big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, And going into that movie, I already thought that, I was probably about to see the best movie of the year. And while I did really enjoy it, I do have to say I'm just not a fan of action movies, and I'm also not a fan of political thrillers. And so those elements of the movie kind of brought it down a little bit for me. I still really loved it, and obviously it's a lot more than just that. It's also a great comedy, and it's a great drama. I loved those elements, but I think just the action elements and the political elements kind of just, brought it down for me. And the same thing happened with the movie Eddington. That's another one that I was very excited to go see. But exactly the same thing. I think it was just the political elements and also the kind of really kind of nonsensical action sequences near the end of the movie that I just can't get into. And so, I actually would say my favorite movie of the year is Roofman. Roofman is a true story about this guy. He was basically known for breaking into establishments by cutting a hole in the roof. That's how he would go to a McDonald's, cut a hole in the roof, and that's how he would get in and rob the place. And I think the interesting thing about this guy is that he was also just incredibly nice, He would be robbing you, but he would be very polite and very accommodating to you while he was doing that. And this movie follows a pivotal moment in his life. This was at a time when he had escaped from jail, and what he did in order to evade capture is instead of going on the lam and running away, he decided to hide out in a local Toys R Us, and he kind of set up a base camp for himself within one of the permanent displays in the store. I think what I like about this movie is that it is about somebody who is living a double life. And that's something that I've always found very fascinating. I think, not that I really have deep, dark secrets like this, but I think we all know what it's kind of like to have to present ourselves a certain way and sort of know that who we are in private is very different. And this is an extreme case of that, but it's just something that I feel has always really spoken to my soul in a way. There's this monologue in the movie where the guy is talking about how much he really likes the person that he is in public. He likes the person that he presents so much more than the person he really is, and that's something that just like hits me really deep. I like that this movie also it tries to keep things very light, but at the same time it really does not pull its punches. This is somebody that at the end of the day, despite how nice he is still responsible for hurting so many people, and also, he's completely ruined his own life. This is also a movie that is directed by Derek C. in France. I don't think this guy is a household name, but you would recognize his movies probably. He did The Place Beyond the Pines, and he also did Blue Valentine. The Place Beyond the Pines is particularly a meaningful movie to me, so he is a director that I keep an eye out for. And this movie got me excited just because he is taking a bit of a left turn. His previous movies are very heavy dramas, and it's just always exciting to me to see a creative person completely change, do a 180 and try something different. And I think he completely knocked it out of the park. I could see this movie becoming kind of a comfort movie for me going forward. And I really do value comfort movies, but it's a comfort movie that also has quite a bit of substance to it. I don't think it's a movie that will necessarily blow you away. And in some ways, I feel like I am supposed to choose a different movie as the best movie of the year. But I'm just trying to, be honest about what I like. And this movie, I think it just met me at the right time, and it really moved me. And that is my favorite movie of the year. Moving on now to my favorite video game of the year. This one, I do have to say that I think I only played about 5 or 6 video games that actually came out in 2025. And this is pretty common for me. And the reason for that is really just that video games are just not affordable, And so I really have missed out on a lot of stuff. I didn't play Clair Obscur. I know that's getting a lot of attention. Pretty much anything that's getting a lot of attention I haven't played, because those games, at least in Canada, are like $90 each, sometimes $100 each. I do actually think the best video game that I played this year is Disco Elysium. But that is a game that I think came out in either like 2018 or 2019. It's an incredible game. I would highly recommend Disco Elysium. But in terms of games that actually came out in 2025, everything that I did play was indie games. And my favorite of the bunch was actually Wonder Stop. In Wonder Stop, you play as a warrior named Alta. And she is someone who is very determined to be the greatest warrior of all time. But at the beginning of this game, she has now pushed herself so hard to the point of complete exhaustion, and she can't even pick up her own sword anymore. And so she's kind of forced to take some time to rest. And she gets this opportunity to work in this magical tea shop, in this magical forest, and it kind of gives her an opportunity to learn the importance of taking some time to rest. I think the messaging in this game is something that I really appreciate, and I think it is something that is important for people these days to kind of, find a balance in life. In a way, I feel like this game is preaching to the choir a little bit, at least for me, because this is one aspect of my life that I actually feel like I do kind of have it together. Like I do feel like I have a pretty good work-life balance. But I know that in our culture, that's not necessarily a common thing. And I think this game is just a good reminder that, by pushing yourself too hard, you are oftentimes hurting yourself and hurting others in the process, in your attempts to kind of get ahead in life. And I think this game just does a very good job of illustrating that. And this game was also created by Davey Wreden, who you may know from games like The Stanley Parable and also The Beginner's Guide. And while this game is a bit of an outlier from the rest of his games, it still does get a little weird and wild, as you might expect from his games. And again, I think this is just a game that met me at the right time. I'm really enjoying cozy games right now. I'm also just started playing Stardew Valley, and I'm surprised by how much I like it. I mean, these are Animal Crossing and games like this. I used to always look at it and be like, why would anybody want to play that? But now I'm actually playing one of these games where it's like a farming simulator, and you just kind of hang out in the town and you interact with all the people in the town, and it is just such a lovely experience. And I think I've noticed as I'm getting older, I'm just looking for more and more games that don't have any combat, So it's not surprising to me that Wonder Stop is my favorite game of the year. And lastly, we will talk about my favorite album from the year. And, honestly, at this point, it feels like I'm just kind of giving you the normie choice, But my favorite album is Getting Killed by Geese. I gotta say, for this year, I listened to like a lot of new music. Probably at least more than the average person, And I gotta say, at least for me personally, I don't think this was a very good year for music. I mean, there was still some really great stuff that came out. And I did discover some really great artists that I got excited about. But something I often do in December is I go through all the year-end lists and I listen to all this new stuff. And this year I just couldn't. I really wasn't getting into anything. And that is very unusual for me. So I would say, at least for me, this year, there really wasn't a lot of competition. But this was also my most anticipated album of the year. I discovered Geese a couple of years ago when they put out 3D Country, and they were so exciting for me at that time, and for the same reasons they're still so exciting to me. I'm just so hardlined towards blues and blues rock just in general, and so to see a band doing something new with that formula is very exciting for me, because obviously the blues, as much as I love it, it is a very redundant formula. It is a genre that you really could say that all the songs pretty much sound the same, but that is not the case with Geese. I think also Cameron Winter as a front man, I think he is the best male vocalist that is currently doing it. Geese is just, they're having a huge moment right now. I probably don't even need to talk about him a whole lot, but yeah, I really love this album. I think compared to 3D Country I think had more like straightforward rock songs, a lot of bangers on that album, but I think Getting Killed, it's just a little more ambitious. I think it's a little more theatrical. I think the songwriting is a lot more loose. Overall, I don't know which album I actually prefer, but anyway, for this year, that is my favorite album. That's really all I wanted to say today. I hope you're having a good start to your year, 2026. It's kind of crazy to think it's already 2026. I'm honestly having a terrible start to my year, and I don't even entirely want to get into it. The level of stress I'm dealing with right now, I'm honestly not doing well in my life at all at this point. I was really hoping for just a peaceful year, Like I was thinking, I don't even care if I achieve anything. I really just want this year to be peaceful. I just want a year where nothing is really going wrong. And obviously that is kind of impossible externally, like the state of our world, so much is going wrong. But I just wanted in my personal life for nothing to go wrong. And it's just not really working out. Anyway, like I said, I don't even want to get into it. But I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing well. Best of luck this year. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've now been doing this channel for 3 years. I know I don't have, I think anybody who's watching my channel is probably a casual viewer or people who know me personally. But if you're watching any of this stuff, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And again, I hope you are doing well. And I will see you later.